Hello everybody, wonderful you could join me. I'm actually in the shed at the moment and it's raining really hard. It's the only place I can get that's quiet so that I can chat to you. So unfortunately you'll be able to hear the rain while I'm speaking. But I've been going through lots of photographs that have been sent to me in the last 2 weeks, and as always they're absolutely fantastic and I can't thank you enough for sending them all in. But I think we need some help from the bushcrafters who are out there and people who are out there in nature all the time, because not all of what we're finding is going to be wildman, and to be honest probably only 3 or 4% is, but that's the 3 or 4% that we need to concentrate on. So if we can eradicate, you know, all the things that confuse us, like the bush shelters and things like that, and there's lots of skills in the woods that we don't know about. So I think what I'm trying to say is, if you recognise anything in these photographs and you know for certain that it's something man-made, human-made, let me know, because that's the kind of information I need. It's useful. I can pass it on to the guys and then they can just forget about that structure and concentrate on something else. We've had lots of prints come in. We've had lots of what the Americans call blob squatches, which I think are interesting looking stumps that people think may be a wildman. And the thing to do with that is, if you come home and you go through your photographs and you're having a look and you think you find something, the best thing that you can do, in all honesty, is to go back as quickly as possible within a couple of days, so that the weather's similar, round about the same time of day if you can, so that the lighting's similar, and get yourself in a perfect spot. And if it's possible, take your phone and your camera, because you can pull up your photograph on your phone and get yourself in the right position to take the comparison shot. And if the stump's still there, then we know it's a stump, and if it isn't there, then that is an anomaly and we need to have a look at that. Somebody asked me a very interesting question yesterday. How do we know what we're finding is Bigfoot related, wildman related? Well, we don't, and that's it. That's the honest answer. What we're finding matches up with what the American guys are finding and what they're finding in Russia and the other places in the world where these wonderful creatures live. So we're finding similar sign, and what we're asking is this sign man-made, human, has a purpose, been put there by humans, or is it something strange that stands out that you've never seen before? And that's really useful information to us. So as the photographs go by, as you're listening to me chat, and you'll see them, there's some really strange ones. We have like the circles of pebbles, and we have things snapped in threes. The ground sticks that we always get seem to have always a very light end, and as Mr. Appleby pointed out to me yesterday, that seems to glow at dusk and dark, so it makes for a very easy trail, maybe in an area that you haven't traversed before, or we're unsure, but we don't understand what reason people would have for snapping a stick in half and then ramming it into the ground. Obviously for a tent peg, yes, but then there would be more than one, or you would see the marks of more than one. And tent pegs are generally not thigh or mid-chest height. They're usually about 6 inches or something like that. And they tend to have been cut with a knife or a saw. And these have been snapped, and you can clearly see that they've been snapped from the ends. So if you know what they are or who's leaving them, please let me know, because we're finding thousands of them, and then that is not an exaggeration. We are literally finding thousands of them. And then we have the tree leans. Lots of sticks leaned up against a tree. Check above. Have a look above at the canopy. See what you think. Could those sticks have come from the canopy above your head? And if so, disregard them, because they probably are. Windfall. And in windfall, you will find that the leaves, end of the tree, will be on the floor. So if you're finding something stood up against a tree and it isn't from the tree, and it's looks upside down to you, as if, you know, as if it's come down from the tree and it wouldn't have landed naturally that way, then that may be worth taking a photograph of and just checking the direction that it's pointing. Have a little walk and see if you see any more sign in that direction. The same with the A signs and the H's and the X's and the things like that that we find on the ground. Now, 99 times out of 100, it is going to be windfall or accidental. There are only so many patterns that you can make with straight sticks, as we know. When you find them similar in similar areas and they're arranged, i.e. in a pinwheel formation, or the letter A, or a triangle with a line at the bottom, they do seem manipulated and placed for a reason. Now, there could be a very logical reason for it and we just haven't come across it yet. So if you recognise those signs as part of your hobby or something that you do on a regular basis, please let us know, and then we can disregard those off. But also because they are, you know, they're turning up in a lot of areas. And what's interesting, they're not in all woods, they're in some woods. So if it was nature and weather and people, you think we'd find them everywhere, but we don't tend to do that. We tend to find them in certain woods that have other sign. And the same with your large snaps and your big tree snaps. Have a look around. Are there any other weather damaged trees in the area? Does this tree look sickly in any way, or, you know, different to the other trees of its species around it? And that could be weather related, and we have to put a lot of the things down to weather related. So one of the simple things that you can do is you can go online and just simply in Google put weather damage to trees and get yourself used to it. If you're not one of the people that's used to being out in the woods all the time and it's new to you, just do a little bit of research like that when you're at home. When the weather's bad and you can't get out and you can't look, have a look online and see, you know, natural weather damage, and then have a look at the bushcrafting sites as well and see what they're leaving and how they arrange there, because we might not be finding an entire shelter. We might be finding the start of a shelter that was abandoned for a reason, and that's very important. And I do say, when you come across the TP structures, look for debris covering, and it only might be a little bit of it's left due down to the wind or animals. But if you think that that's had a debris covering on it, that is more than likely bushcraft. If it looks very well arranged, where you could just chuck a tarp over the top, that is probably bushcraft. But if it's intertwined and it doesn't seem to offer no cover whatsoever, and it's out there on the path for all to see, I would take a photograph of that, and I wouldn't listen to the skeptics. I would take a photograph from every angle, and I would stand at that sign and I would take a photograph in 360 degrees around me. And I have some theories of my own on that, and we can chat about that at a later date. But I don't think anybody would be making a shelter out in the open for people to see. I don't think that makes sense at all. But they could be leaving it for an entirely different reason, and it's that reason that we're after. Same with the pinwheels. These are interwoven and entwined. They haven't fallen like that. It doesn't look as if they've been arranged in some way. Well, it does look like they've been arranged in some way. I meant naturally. You know, nature hasn't arranged them like that. You don't get straight lines in nature, and you certainly don't get pinwheels. Not interwoven pinwheels that seem to be the same the UK wide and all across the world. So that's just me, just having a look through the photographs, and this is a small selection. It's not all the photographs that have been sent. I've tried to pick a few from different researchers to show you different areas of the country. So as the photographs are going through, you're actually looking at photographs from all across the UK. And with it being a small selection, I am going to upload the rest that I have. Unfortunately, the new app that I'm using to make the videos only allows me around 20 minutes. So I have to get in and out quickly and, you know, do enough for that. So I have got hundreds that have been sent to me. And I'm going to try, as you can hear, the weather's bad, over the next couple of days to try and upload them for you so you can go through them and have a look and see if you're finding the same things. Or if it's your first time going out and you want to give it a try. The season's changing now. Lots of things are on the move. It's a good time to get out before the bad weather comes. See if you can find anything like this. check in your local area on Google, see if there's any bushcraft groups in your area, any scout groups, any camping groups, even geocaches, because they will leave signs. Try and debunk what you find every way that you can. And if you can debunk it, then that is probably the logical answer. And you are going to get disappointed, and you are going to get fed up, and you are going to get let down. But when you find something that stands out and you try to debunk it and you cannot, and you've looked for bushcraft groups in that area and cannot find them, and you've gone through everything that you can think of to tick off on that list and still are left with the thought of, how did that get there? Then take that photograph and take it from every single angle and video it if you can. It might not seem important now, but it might become important in months or years to come. We don't know, do we? And as we get information in and we lose some of the signs to knowledge, to, well, we know what that is now, we'll lose it. That, to some, will feel very sad, but not to me. What I think we've got is a huge puzzle that's made up of about 4 or 5 different people adding their pieces. And if each person could come along and say, well, actually, no, they're mine, I can explain that and take those away, that leaves us with less of a puzzle. And eventually, when we're left with just the important pieces, just the pieces that we need, it will make for a much clearer puzzle to work out. So at the moment where we're looking at hundreds and hundreds of signs, we might be able to break it down into something that's much more manageable, much easier to remember, and that means less work for us, you know, and it's much easier to find an area to research in. So I hope that information has helped some of you, and if you've got any questions, just drop me a line or comment in the comment section below, and I'll definitely get back to you and answer it. And as you can hear, the weather, it's not great, and today's not a good day for me, so I'm going to curl up now and in my quilt, and I'm going to look at the rest of the photographs that have come in and try and get those uploaded for you. So you might get a couple of videos of me in the next couple of days. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me. I'll leave you with the sounds of the rain for the moment, and I think I'm going to go and have a little nod. So thank you very much. Please enjoy the photograph.